Hi guys, Alex Smith here. Just making a quick video because I had so many requests from teachers. I had posted yesterday in some of our educator Facebook pages about the Google forum that I'm going to be using with families. I posted the one that I'm going to be sending out this Thursday. And when I posted that, I touched on I'm using it to get more information for the choice boards that I've developed for my students. When I posted that, I had a lot of people reach out to in terms of what are these choice boards, what will they look like, how are you using them. So I had promised a few people that I would make just a quick video if it helps anybody. That's all I'm really here to do, is just kind of share my ideas, and hopefully we can all learn from each other, especially during these times, right? So what I wanted to kind of talk about is my district decided to, at the elementary level, go forth with choice boards as a way to provide families with instruction and content across a variety of areas. So, and they're supposed to use those at their own pace when it works for them. It's not supposed to be intrusive or overwhelming. It's really just a tool to help guide instruction during these times when our students are at home. Specifically for me, I am a special education teacher. I am the autism specialized teacher right now at my school for kinder through fifth. I have every grade except for third this year. And to be honest, my students really range in their skills and their areas that they're targeting. So this has been really interesting for me. I've been spending a lot of time collaborating with all teachers in grade levels, not only to add modifications to their choice boards, but I learned a lot, excuse me, from them and the standards that they're hitting. So from there, I decided that I was not only going to participate in their choice board to increase inclusion, right? That's all of the special education teachers, that's our main goal, right, is to be inclusive. But this time right now, I feel that it's important to be inclusive, but at the same time, I would like to give my parents and families that I serve a document where maybe if this is the easiest thing they can use right now, then they can go for it. So until they find their groove and their pattern, maybe in a few weeks they find that they can be doing the general ed choice board with my modifications, and that's great, right? But for now, I just feel it's really important that I also offer them something where everything is just comprised in one central location every week, where they know they can just rely on and get the speech, get the OT, get specials, get life skills. And that's kind of what you'll see here. So I'm just going to kind of show you what my choice board looks like. And I know people are going to ask me to share it. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is I will post a link of some sort for you to access this board, and you can modify it to tailor it to your students' needs. But what I want to show you is I tried to mirror this board to look like what our typical day looks like in my classroom. So every day we hit ELA, every day we hit math, we hit science or social studies, we hit life skills, we hit social emotional behavior, and maybe not every day, but at some point in the week, every kid has speech, OT, and adaptive PE. They go to their specials with their gen ed peers. And then I have this box down here. This week, I added, our school's name is Quail Run, and I added the box called Quail Run School-Wide Fun, because we are doing a distant Spirit Week. Sorry, my brain's a little tired. So I tried to, instead of them getting all of these emails and feeling like they needed to read every single email all the time, I'm just trying to include in this box snippets from their weekly email so that they can see right here again in this one document that I'm hoping is user-friendly, what's going on in the school. So we're doing, again, Spirit Week. We just made it so that kids can engage in it from home, which is actually really cool. That was not my idea, but very cool that our school team did that. So shout out to them. So what this looks like, it's very brief. It's 1 to 2 activities per day in an area of focus. So you can see here, I wrote, let's ease back into learning by reviewing our letters and their sounds, because I don't know about all of you guys, but our students have officially not been in school since March 6th. So it's been a month. So for my students, I really just shared with parents, let's ease back into this. Let's make it easy. They might engage in some undesirable behaviors because they're not used to working. They might not be used to working at home, or they haven't worked in so long. So let's make this successful. And if it has to be errorless, that's okay. We want our kids to feel success to increase their participation, right? And as these weeks go on, we can add in more difficult material. But I think that sharing that with your families, that it might be, you might see that your kids are flying through this. That's okay. Praise, 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 reinforce, reinforce. Get them back in that pattern of working, and we'll ease back into it. So how I designed mine, I really just made this, you'll see, I just made it in a Word doc. The reason I did that, a lot of our teachers are doing their choice boards in Seesaw or with Google Slides, and I think that's awesome. I just thought that it might be needed to make it, again, as user-friendly and as easy as possible. So for me, what I wanted to test out this week with my families is if I just email this Word doc to them, is that easy for them to access, right? I don't want them pulling up something that they get frustrated with and can't navigate, and then they quit before the learning opportunity happens, right? Because you're just so frustrated with even pulling up the assignment. So the way that this looks, I designed it so that every choice board, every Sunday or Monday morning, I will be emailing my families their choice board, and you'll see, I'll scroll back up, I just am labeling it the first date of the week. So when they pull in their email and they see email, 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 hopefully their eyes can just zone in, okay, where's that April 6th choice board? Again, how can I make this easier for families? So when they get this, it will be 5 pages every week, 1 page per day. And again, I cannot emphasize enough that I know a lot of people have shared that this is so hard for families right now, and we don't want to overwhelm, and less is more. And I 100% agree, 1,000,000% agree. And I share that with my families. I have the relationship with my families where I found it easy to say to them, I wanted to make sure you had a target, an activity in each target area for every day. But don't feel overwhelmed by that. Access what you want, when you want, and when you're able. This is not me checking in to see, did they do ELA, life skills, specials, math every day. This is simply me wanting to provide an area for them to target every day of the week, and they access what feels right for them. So make sure sharing with your families. You might say, hey, when you open this up, this is new for all of us, right? I would love your feedback. If it's too much, if it's not enough, please share that so we can modify it and adjust together so that you as families can be successful. That's very important to do. So my families are very well aware that I'm not checking in every day, and I'm not expecting them to complete these every day. This is just there for their use on their time, when it works and how it works for them. Okay, so on top of that, when I tried to make it easier, you'll see I'm going to scroll down. So we have Monday. I did it in color coding with the rainbow, so Roy G. Biv. So Monday is red, Tuesday is orange, Wednesday is yellow, Thursday is green, Friday is blue. But the format every day is the same. So every day ELA is going to be first, then math, then science and social studies. So when I go to Tuesday, as a parent, I'm going to know first is ELA, next is math, third is science and social studies. The exact same format. What you'll notice is all of these underlined things, those are embedded links. So again, trying to make it easier for our families. So if I want my kids to watch, in an ideal world, if they were to be able to sit down and do this activity, they're going to watch the phonics song with sounds, and while watching, practice naming your letters and their sounds. Then they can use flashcards to practice naming and sequencing letters. From here, as a parent, when I receive this in my email, I can click this link, and it's going to take me directly to the video.
Rock and learn!
Okay, I'm going to get out of that. Go back, I'm sorry. So these embedded links, in my opinion, are just making it easier and more accessible for parents, more user-friendly, which at the end of the day, my gut feeling says the more user-friendly this is, the more they're going to engage in these learnings on a consistent basis, right? So same thing, anytime, anywhere there's an email, if they click that link, it's going to automatically take them directly, it's going to pull up my email address in their email inbox. So just making it one step easier for them. Everyday in life skills I made a YouTube page, which this is what this video is going to be embedded in, and you're welcome to go to that whenever you want. If you'd like to share my videos with families, please by all means feel free to. So every day I'm going to be going live on YouTube in the mornings to do morning meeting, and honestly I'm just running it the exact same way that I would have had our kiddos been in the classroom. So life skills every day is going to have 2 activities. Again, I've shared with my families, this is use it when you can, as you can, when you're able. This is not an expectation by any means. This is just if you are pouring your kiddo a bowl of cereal and they're sitting there and they're eating breakfast one day and you just want to click on this link to go to the YouTube channel and here it is, and access your morning meeting activities, that is fine. Join in. That's great. Okay. If it doesn't work that morning because you're going on a walk with the dog because it's such a beautiful day, skip it, right? When you come over to the social emotional behavior, I'm really trying, this week I focused in on, yesterday we did reading facial cues, but as the week went on, I did more social stories. Why can't I go to school the next day? My coronavirus story, all adapted stories to help describe the situation that we're in. So social emotional behavior, that box is gonna, hopefully tie to or include activities that they can relate, as we should be doing in the classroom, that they can relate to their home life and what's going on right now, okay? I don't know how everyone's schools are doing it, but for ours, speech therapy, OT, adaptive, physical therapy, music therapy, they all have a Google Classroom, is my understanding right now, and parents can access that and engage in the links, but teachers also have access as well. So for me, thinking to what is easier, I would rather personally take the extra 10-15 minutes a week and embed their activities in here for the parents so that they don't need to go to the Google Classroom. They can just come to this centralized document and access these things there. So you'll notice I just kind of picked days. So for Monday we're doing OT, Tuesday is speech, Wednesday is adaptive PE. I love that our adaptive PE coach, he also is using weekly Google Forums, and so I included the link there. So when they're done, if they engaged in the activity that week and they want to give feedback, emphasizing on if they want to, it's not a requirement for anyone. This is simply us trying to be there for our families. They can click on that link and fill out the Google form, which will then be sent to Coach Stoll. Then we wrap back to speech on Thursday, OT on Friday. Okay, so that was me just personally picking and choosing what in order to kind of spread it out throughout the week. Again, another thing that you might want to touch with your families, and this might be information overload for families right now, but the goal is after a week or two, they don't need to be receiving this information in these directions all the time, right? Because just like we learn new resources and materials, they are too. So it might be a lot that you're kind of communicating in the next week or two, and maybe they don't respond, and that's fine. I'm not taking any hard feelings to that. But one of the things I shared with them is you might completely miss Monday. You might not pull this document out at all, and that is fine. And maybe when you're on Tuesday, you're like, oh, we flew through that speech lesson. Let me scroll back up to Monday and do the OT. That's fine, right? This is a fluid document. Just because I wrote Monday does not mean these things are designed for Mondays only. You can engage in these activities as you see fit throughout the week. This is simply just me offering a guidance to spread it out. That's all. So same thing with specials. I designed it so that, okay, here is library. And I embedded the link. All of our specials teachers, again, have some sort of online format where they're including their links, and those are being sent to families. And that's beautiful. I love it. For me, I would rather embed it in this choice board for the families to access on one document. So here we go. We click on the link, and it's taking you right to that library lesson for the day. Not that I designed, that the librarian designed. Okay, you scroll down Tuesday, today is gym. I've labeled it, if some teachers library, it was the same lesson. You click on this and then it differentiates by grade level. For some specials, it's literally different links per grade. So I made sure to label that. If your kiddo's in kinder, first, or second, you're going to click this link. Okay. So that kind of walks you through specials. The only other thing I was going to touch on, and I do want to say I've shared a lot with creating stories with unique learning system and embedding comprehension questions. Which I've got a lot of great feedback. A lot of parents have said their kiddos like seeing me on the screen, so I think those have been worthwhile making. But you will see, where is it? I'm sorry. We're going to scroll. Some days I'm kind of still following, not only am I following the general education standards that they're targeting. For example, every second grader had this activity this week, so I embedded it because it was something that my students can do without a problem. So why wouldn't they access the general education curriculum, right? But for something like an ELA lesson that they might have on Wednesday in the gen ed class that might not be as meaningful for my students, I embedded the link to the unique learning system stories that I had created.
Hi kiddos! Today
Which
we're going
again
to read the story.
Are on this YouTube page, and anyone's welcome to share those if you'd like. So just to touch on those, these are the stories where I read, and I embedded PowerPoint comprehension questions for students to follow along, whether they're verbalizing their answer. I shared with parents they can touch the screen. Maybe you're holding up two pictures and one's a leaf and one's a bike, and they touch, just as we do in our classroom. Or maybe they're using their communication device or they're signing leaf. It's whatever your kiddo would have normally did in the classroom to answer comprehension. I just modeled that for my parents, for them to access. I did it in a video format for them to access whenever it works for them. So that is what my choice boards are looking like. I will share these so that you can modify them in any way that you'd like. I would just remind you that if you're going to change stuff like email addresses, not only do you need to delete it and change your email in the typing format, but you need to go to change the link as well. So make sure you do that. Otherwise, I'll be getting all your family's emails. I don't think you want that. But it's pretty simple. If you don't know how to embed links, you just come up here. You kind of get in the groove of it. You can highlight. Let's do this one. You can highlight and do Command K. Will pull up the hyperlink. Or you can do Insert, Link. And then you just copy and paste what link you want. If it's an email address, make sure the email address here is highlighted. If it's a web page, you want to be over in this area. So just be careful with that. Make sure you're embedding in the correct section. I think that's all I have. The only other thing I wanted to kind of share is I know the Google form that I sent. Oopsie, there it goes. The Google form that I'm planning to send this Thursday to families is in regards to this. My goal, I know it's kind of a hefty document for parents to fill out. Again, I've emphasized this is to families that this is on your time. If it works for you, I want it there to get your feedback, because what I want is to make sure that I'm designing instruction that is working for you in your home. But if you don't have the time to fill out the document, no worries, shoot me a text or don't communicate with me at all. Whatever works for you works for me, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one on here. We want to make sure that we're helping in the correct way. So the Google Forum is just a means to get feedback on these choice boards. With that said, I might use that Google Forum, for those who loved the Google Forum, I might use it this week and next and get whatever feedback I can. They might say, this is not working at all. I just need links to apps that are free. I just need, or I don't know what they're going to say, but any feedback will work for me to make sure that I'm maximizing the instruction and learning opportunities. So the Google form might be hefty for the first 2 weeks in order to get that feedback, but what I'm envisioning is after a week or two of using that, and we're playing around with these choice boards, that Google form might just be sent weekly, just saying, how are things going? Is there any concerns? I will simplify it to be just a simple check-in that they can utilize on a weekly basis if they see fit. But until then, I think if you're able to communicate with families and get their feedback on these documents to make sure we're not wasting our time and your students are just sitting around at home doing nothing because this whole thing is meaningless to their way of life, I think that that's worth our time and worth the conversation. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and then I will stop, is my school is not doing a spirit week every week. So I might not always have something to embed in this box from school, like I was saying. But what I was thinking was, and if anyone likes this idea, you should roll with it. It would be kind of cool for this to be a box of like tips and tricks for parents, and not that you would, again, overwhelm them by embedding 10 different things, but maybe you're sharing 1 or 2 things a week. Like maybe you create a video or you find an awesome video on how to respond to undesirable behaviors, when to ignore and engage. So adding 1 to 2 tricks a week, tips and trick sites a week, I think will be really great to help our parents kind of broaden their toolbox. But yeah, that's all I have for you. If you have questions on these boards, please reach out. I will do my best to respond. I'm happy to help, and hopefully if this helps anyone, that makes me happy, right? Because we're all in this together. So please reach out. Let me know if you are using something that you think is better, because I would love to learn and collaborate with anybody. All right? Thank you so much.